Welcome back to Aunty's farm, a place for learning and so much fun. Welcome back to Aunty's farm. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the calm. With tractors, bees, and cows that moo, there's always something fun to do. So come on in, don't be shy, and don't forget to be kind. Out on the farm, we laugh and play, with Aunty to guide us every day. Welcome back to Aunty's farm, a place for learning and so much fun.
Welcome back to Auntie's farm. Today Auntie is here with Stu from Reptile Solutions, and he's going to teach us all about the kind of slippery friends we might find in the wild, what we should be doing if we encounter them, and he'll just show us some really cool Australian animals. How you going, Stu?
I'm good.
So who have we got here?
This is Debbie, and Debbie's one of our snakes. She's one of our non-venomous snakes, a type of snake called a python, and this type of python's one known as a carpet python. They can get bigger than this, so Debbie would be just over 2.5 metres, but it's not uncommon to find them over 3 metres in size.
Yeah, she's pretty big.
So these guys will naturally feed on birds and mammals as part of their diet, so possums and birds out in the wild. But mice, rats and rabbits, some of those introduced mammals, also have been adopted into their natural diet as well.
Okay. And so if we found one of these in the wild, what would you recommend someone to do?
So these snakes, they're not venomous, but we still encourage people not to touch or interact with them. So this one, she's what we call a captive animal.
Yes.
So she's been around people her entire life. She knows that what's happening right now is very normal and natural for her. But if we were doing this with a wild carpet python, it wouldn't understand. It'd see us as danger. So it would try and squirm around and get away from us. But there's a good chance that it could bite us to protect itself. And it does have many little, very tiny teeth in the jaw. And they're a very, very strong snake as well. So where she's using me like a nice warm tree to wrap around, in the wild, she would wrap around a lot tighter because she'd be feeling scared. And a bit like us, we tense up when we're a bit scared and frightened. And a snake of this size, it can be quite difficult to get off if we're by ourselves when they wrap around quite tightly.
Okay.
So we do encourage people to not interact with them if they're a wild one. Just best to be left be.
Yep.
A small young, this is a southern or a common death adder.
Okay.
So venom-wise, they are around the 5th most venomous snake in the world.
Okay. How do you know it's a death adder? What to look for?
So these snakes, they're probably one of our easier snakes to identify compared to a lot of our other snakes around this area. They're a much shorter little snake, quite stocky, but one of the big features with the death adder is their little tail. So they've got a very interesting little tail there. I'll see if she'll hold it up for us. There we go. And the end of that tail is quite sort of flat, and it'll either be black like this or white. And even though they're not as quick moving across the ground like some of our other snakes, they have an incredibly fast striking speed. Anywhere from well under half a second, and so they can spring out and be able to grab their prey with amazing speed. They're incredibly venomous, so their venom helps to paralyse their prey and stop it from moving very quickly, so that they're then able to comfortably feed on it.
So if people do find snakes in the wild, do they call you, or what do you do if you come across a snake that's in a place that you don't want the snake to be?
That's right. So people around this area, people will contact me, and in other parts of the country, people like me to get help and assistance with a snake or something that they think might be a snake. If he does suddenly sort of move towards you, it's not dangerous at all, but it's just very important just to stay still.
Yeah.
Which will sort of be something that we'll incorporate in.
Yeah. So what kind of snake have we got here?
So this is probably our most common and one of our more recognisable large venomous snake species in this part of Australia, the red-bellied black snake.
Yep.
And you can see where it gets that name from, the very, very striking black on the top, and then you can see the crimson red on the side of the body, which looks like the belly. But one of the interesting things, and with this one where we can safely lift him up, you can see underneath that the red-bellied black snake doesn't actually have a red belly. It's just the sides. But this one here is a young male.
Yep.
His name's Neville.
Neville.
He's loving having a bit of outside activity at the moment. You can see how he's sort of pushing through the grass there.
Yep.
So he's looking for a hiding space, but at the same time too, he's also looking for food. So he'd be sniffing and looking around through that grass for, hopefully might find a little frog in there or a lizard. This snake, it's quite common around areas adjacent to water. So we do quite commonly find them in our swamp areas and wetlands, but anywhere where there's close by waterways. So that might be creeks, rivers, farm dams and ponds. And we've got a lot of drainage and irrigation around farm areas and towns. And so this snake has become one of our more widespread and adaptable snakes around human living. They can grow just up and over 2 metres.
Wow.
This one here, he'd be about 1.5 metres long now.
Yep.
But they are a dangerously venomous snake, can make us terribly, terribly sick. So we're very, very lucky that we do have medicines and antivenoms and treatment to be able to survive a bite from this snake. But
so if we do encounter this snake, what's the best way to act to not get bitten, to not upset the snake?
yeah, so if we're really close, like this close here right now, the best thing for us to do is to keep really still, to not move or not move quickly, because it's going to be that quick sudden movement that's going to frighten the snake or get the snake's attention. So by keeping really still, we don't look scary or look dangerous to the snake. And once the snake has safely moved away from us, we can then move even further away. One of the really good things to do is, where the grass is really short at the moment, it's making it very, very easy to see this snake. And if we were walking along from a distance, we could see the snake far away, and just make sure we stay far away from the snake. And that'll keep us out of danger. So the other good thing is, if we are outside and around areas where there might be snakes or even other creatures like spiders and other creepy crawlies, it's always best to dress and be prepared. So when we're working outdoors, we've always got our boots on, got our long pants, we'd roll our sleeves down, chuck our gloves on, and that provides a protective barrier so we're all covered up.
So what kind of snake have we got here?
So this one here, he's probably got the worst reputation out of all of our Aussie snakes. This is the eastern brown snake. So for this part of New South Wales where we live, this is our most venomous snake, and it's the second most venomous snake in the world. Now, we normally wouldn't be anywhere this close to a wild one. He gets a lot of bad stories about chasing people and being quite grumpy and cranky and trying to bite. And quite a large snake, so he's also our largest venomous snake around here, apart from the red-bellied black snake. So he's got a very, very toxic venom. But fortunately, what he also has is very, very teeny tiny fangs. And so that's where the clothing that we're wearing right now, our boots, our long pants, is providing a cover and a protective barrier from this snake. But keeping still is also avoiding him from getting scared and upset as well. And that's one of the best things to do if we work close and discovered a snake like this. Keep really still, call for help, or when it's safe, slowly move away from the snake, and the further away we are, the safer we are.
Okay, I know sometimes brown snakes can be a little bit hard to identify. Is it important to identify snakes, or would you just say stay away from all snakes, doesn't matter what kind of snake it is? It's
best, if we don't know what the snake is, it's best to treat them all the same. Treat the snake as if it could be venomous and keep away from it to keep ourselves safe. But it is very, very easy to get our snakes mixed up. And a lot of people get this snake mixed up for other snakes.
Yep.
But there's a lot of other snakes that do get mixed up with these ones as well. So, because even though this one's a bit of a brown colour, brown snake, they're not all the same. So you do get some brown snakes that can be almost black. We can see our brown snake Leroy here. He's actually got a couple of black stripes or bands just behind his head there.
Yep.
And sometimes they can have lots of those and look like a tiger snake. So some people might see a stripy snake and think that's a tiger snake when it's actually a brown snake. But we've actually had some people that have been bitten by snakes which they thought were little harmless tree snakes and decided to pick them up. And when they've picked them up, they've been bitten by it, and it turned out to actually be little baby brown snakes. So it's very important, if we don't know what they are, certainly don't touch them or go near them.
Yep. Who have we got here?
This is Winona, and Winona's got a bit of a strange or a funny name. It's a python in Australia called a Woma python. And we also call it a sand python or a desert python. But she's a snake that we use a lot in our educational talks and displays to raise awareness on identification and misidentification of snakes, where we have so many different snakes in Australia and some of them can easily be mixed up with one another just on their colours and patterns and even their shape. And so this snake here, it's got a very different shaped head to our carpet python that we saw before. It's got a shape of a head that a lot of people see that and think it's a venomous snake. And so that's a good example just there, that we can't tell a snake if it is venomous or not just by its head. It's got stripes on it like a tiger snake, and not all tiger snakes are stripy, and a lot of other snakes can be stripy in Australia. She's brown as well, so she does get mistaken for a brown snake, even though she's not a brown snake. But she's also got a lovely yellow belly with spots underneath it, just like a brown snake, or even a snake like a taipan can have. So people see all those things and think that's venomous, even though it's not. So in Australia, because we've got so many snakes, we can't use their colours, their patterns, or their shapes to tell what they are. So it's always very important to err on the safer side of caution, keep away. But if we take a picture of the snake and send it to someone who knows what they're looking at, they can clearly say what it is and let people know whether it's safe to live in their garden or out in their paddock, or whether it's one that they do need to stay away from.
Okay.
But where she lives is right out in the middle of Australia.
Okay.
So she's a true desert species. And this particular one here, she comes from over in Western Australia.
Okay. So you do talks, you do shows. So how does that work?
Yeah. So our collection of reptiles are a tiny little zoo collection, and we're a type of zoo called a mobile zoo, which instead of people visiting us, we actually travel with our animals to go out and take our animals to them. And so that might be going out to a school in a remote area, going out to community areas, and going to agricultural shows and many other different places. And that can allow us to share information and wildlife experiences with people who might not normally be able to get that experience. But it also helps us to be able to educate and raise awareness on different animals as well too. And education can be very, very important for helping to keep people safe, but also keeping our wildlife safe as well.
Yep. Okay, who have we got here?
So we've got our 2 second place getters for size with Aussie snakes or Aussie pythons. So this very tiny one, is a very cute little one called Dora. Dora's our second smallest python species in Australia and the world. A little tiny python called the children's python. And she's fully grown. She won't grow any bigger than what she is here.
Okay.
So she's about 11 years old, and she's a little children's python that comes out from far outback New South Wales and far outback Queensland. And the bigger guy is Australia's second biggest python, and second biggest snake overall, which is the olive python. So this is Bruce. Bruce is a bit over 3 meters long.
Wow.
And so he's literally only a little guy. So this is a python that can usually get to about 4.5 meters. But there's an area of Western Australia where the biggest ones that we find can measure over 6 meters long.
Wow.
So incredibly big snakes.
Oh my goodness.
And he's also quite a pretty snake that hopefully, if we get enough sunlight, we'll see that he's more than just an olivey bronze snake.
Yeah.
He's actually got quite a lot of other little colours on him.
Huh. And so the pythons, they're not venomous?
That's right. So all pythons are non-venomous snakes. But as we can see, our pythons quite literally come in all different shapes, different colours and patterns, and different different sizes. And so there are times where our pythons can get mistaken for venomous snakes.
Yeah.
And also where some of our venomous snakes can get mistaken for pythons as well.
Yeah. So how do you identify a python snake then?
Some of the things that we look for to tell our snakes apart start from the type of scales on the body, and also the number of scales that are found across the body. We also look at certain features in snakes' heads, and snakes like our pythons, most of our pythons have got tiny little indentations, which is hard to see in a little snake. We'll look at our bigger guy here. You can see he's got some look like little dimples on the side of his jaw there.
Yeah.
And those are heat sensing pits. So those pits along the jaws there also are another bit of an indicator. They've got a different sort of shaped head with different scales in along the jaw there, which helps us identify as well.
Yep.
But also some of the scales underneath the body can be quite different in these snakes as well. And one big feature with our pythons, so what we've got underneath the tail, it's a bit hard to see, but there's two little claws. And those claws, there we go.
Oh.
Little python being a python, it also has those little claws or spurs, very hard to see being a very tiny one. But those two tiny little dots on each side of its bottom there, they're another little thing that indicate to us that it's a python.
Okay.
So our other snake species, especially our venomous ones, won't have those tiny little claws.
Yep. Did you have a favourite animal that you saw today? If you like this episode, make sure you subscribe and jump on over to Reptile Solutions website to check out all the cool things they're doing. But most importantly, don't forget to be kind. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.